Buford. Calhoun Falls. Crescent. Lakewood. Lexington Richland 5. Nation Ford. Pickens County CTC. Seneca. Strom Thurmond. W.J. Keenan. Please join me in congratulating our Gold Emblem chapters.
Each of the 12 chapters on stage will have their application forwarded to the National FFA organization for competition this summer. Good luck to each and every one of these chapters as they pursue a star ranking on the national level. A governor's citation will be presented to this year's top 3 chapters who have emphasized outstanding aptitude in one of 3 areas: growing leaders, building communities, and strengthening agriculture. Each of the 3 winners will receive a $1,000 check for their chapter, courtesy of the South Carolina Rural Rehabilitation Corporation. Please join me in welcoming on stage from the South Carolina Rural Rehabilitation Corporation, Mr. William Stanley, President, Mr. Wesley Harris, Secretary-Treasurer, Mr. Mike Cox, a member of the Board of Directors, and a very close friend of our officer team, Mr. Boone Peeler, State Executive Director, South Carolina Farm Service Agency. These gentlemen will announce the 2017-2018 Governor Citation Award winners.
Thank you, Philip. It's indeed a privilege for South Carolina Rural Rehabilitation Corporation from the Board of Directors to have a part in this very impressive 91st State FFA Conference. A little bit about us. We're a nonprofit corporation that makes farm real estate loans. We do a little different in that we donate a part of our proceeds to such things as the FFA here tonight. We've been doing this for the last 30 years. In addition to that, we donate to the state 4-H, but the thrust of our giving goes to Clemson University, where we donate scholarships for kids majoring in agriculture from South Carolina farm families. To date, we've donated $2.5 million to this effort, for which we are very proud. And my own advice to you is, I know many of you here will wind up in Clemson, FFA members. If you major in agriculture, I'd search out Kirby Player and sign up for one of these scholarships. Might not mean much to you, but I'm sure your parents appreciate it. And it is a privilege to be up here with 2 of our board members, Wesley Harris. Wesley is our Secretary-Treasurer. He has been up here the last 9 years probably with us presenting these awards. Wesley was also very active in working with the award ceremony for several years prior to coming to work with us, because he was the farm loan supervisor for FSA, and he worked on the judging committee. Wesley will be retiring at the end of this month, so let's give him a round of applause for the work he's done for FFA. Now we also have our new secretary on the stage here, Mike Hooks. Mike, would you raise your hand? And it is indeed a privilege to share the stage here with Bone Peeler, the state FSA director.
Thank you. On behalf of the Farm Service Agency, it is my honor to award governor's citations to 3 chapters. The award for growing leaders goes to Buford High School.
Congratulations, ladies. If you'll hold that, I'll get a check. Which one shall I trust the check with?
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
The award for strengthening agriculture goes to Crescent High School.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Don't drop it. Don't drop it. Shall I give the check to him or you want?
I guess.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
And the award for building communities goes to Nation Ford High School.
Okay. Congratulations, ladies.
Thank you very much.
The check goes to you.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And again, congratulations.
Congratulations, winners.
Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us at the 91st South Carolina FFA Convention. We really appreciate everything that you have done for us and our members throughout these many, many years. Y'all have been sponsoring these awards. Thank you again, and we're so glad that you were able to attend.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you. Thank you. The National FFA organization awards over $2.5 million in scholarships each year. Scholarships are sponsored by businesses and individuals through the National FFA Foundation and are given for a variety of experiences, career goals, and higher education plans. The selection process is based on an online application that takes into account FFA involvement, work experience, SAE, community service, leadership skills, and academics. This year, 7 South Carolina FFA members received a total of $16,500 in scholarships from the National FFA organization. Allison, will you please introduce our scholarship recipients?
Luke Altman of the Aner FFA chapter is receiving the $1,500 America's Farmers Grow Ag Leaders Scholarship, sponsored by the Monsanto Fund. Alston Culpepper of the Belton Honeypath FFA chapter is receiving the $1,000 Chevy Truck Scholarship. Mary Ashlyn Goforth of the Strom Thurmond FFA chapter is receiving the $1,000 Chevy Truck Scholarship sponsored by Pendarvis Chevrolet. Caroline Gilmer of the Pendleton FFA chapter is receiving the $1,000 Lacrosse Footwear Incorporated Scholarship. Gracie Herron of the Strom Thurmond FFA chapter is receiving the $3,000 Farm Aid Scholarship. Sarah Langston of the Silver Bluff FFA chapter is receiving the $4,000 CSX Transportation Scholarship. Samantha Parker of the Pendleton FFA chapter is receiving the $5,000 George M. Helberg Memorial Scholarship. Please join me in one more round of applause for our National FFA Scholarship recipients.
The Batesburg-Leesville FFA chapter has hosted a statewide FFA pageant for young ladies who are members of this great organization. The contestants are not only judged on their beauty, poise, and attire, but also their knowledge of FFA, SAE, and how FFA contributes to agriculture. For their efforts, the winner of this pageant has been awarded a $500 scholarship sponsored by Ag South Farm Credit. Your 2018 Miss FFA is Miss Peyton Busby from the Abbeville FFA chapter. For many years, the Pendleton FFA chapter has hosted the Mr. FFA Scholarship Competition, open to all male South Carolina FFA members. The competition is based on an FFA member's involvement in their chapter and community, their SAE, and their overall leadership abilities. The Pendleton Farmer Society sponsors the $500 scholarship that goes along with being named Mr. FFA. Your 2018 Mr. FFA is Mr. John Ammons from the Pendleton FFA chapter. At this time, on behalf of Mr. Mike Watkins, the Executive Director of the South Carolina Fertilizer and Agrochemicals Association, I would like to present the Hilton V. Rogers Scholarship. Due to an illness in his family, Mr. Watkins was not able to attend tonight. The scholarship was named after Mr. Hilton V. Rogers, who was a lifelong supporter of agriculture. The winner of this year's Hilton V. Rogers Scholarship is Mr. Josh Bobo from the Belton Honeypath FFA chapter. I would now like to call upon Mr. Stanley Rawl, the State Young Farmer President, to the podium to present the South Carolina Young Farmers and Agribusiness Association scholarships.
Thank you, Mr. Rhodes. South Carolina Young Farmers and Agribusiness Associates' mission is to provide and promote continuing education for the current farmers, the men and women and families that are out there, that's been out there for years and decades and generations, toiling over the soil trying to make a living. We provide an avenue as new developments are discovered at colleges such as Clemson here. We provide an avenue to get those new developments out there and implement them in the field. With that being said, y'all are the future. Y'all are the seeds that are being planted now, and we want to help in that and give back with some scholarships. So without further ado, we'd like to present these scholarships.
Receiving $500 scholarships, William Price of the Clinton FFA chapter. Samantha Parker of the Pendleton FFA chapter. Receiving $1,000 scholarships, Gracie Heron of the Strom Thurmond FFA chapter. Peyton Busby of the Abbeville FFA chapter. Join me in congratulating these scholarship recipients.
Mr. Rawl, thank you for your gracious contribution to the South Carolina FFA Association. We really appreciate everything that you do for us. Attending the South Carolina Young Farmers and Agribusinessmen Convention this fall was one of the highlights of our years as a state officer. We really appreciate everything that you do for us, and we'd like to present you with this gift on behalf of the South Carolina FFA Association.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Now get ready to see the power of your mind. With 20 years of experience entertaining crowds, this man knows exactly what to do. This performance is more than barking dogs or clucking chickens. Get ready for a hilarious and mind-blowing show with Mr. Corey Osborne.
Just graduated fresh on campus. Fresh out East Atlanta with no mountains. Damn. Fresh out East Atlanta, like a traffic jam. I was quick to pay that girl like Uncle Sam. He go, ayy, take it on me. Shout craving on me, get the beating on me. She waited on me, shout caking on me, got the bacon on me. This is history and I'm making on me. Point blank, close range, that's me. If it goes a million, that's me. I was getting moolah, baby.